Hello everybody and welcome to the next tutorial in the man-in-the-middle attack. So now let us try to run some of the more advanced attack with the man-in-the-middle framework. So in order to do that, let us see our available options first. So just type here dot slash minus or dot slash mitmf.py minus help, sorry for that. And let us see some of our available options that we can use right here. So if you scroll up, you can see a bunch of these options. Now we will mostly be using the --ARP spoofing. We will use later on the DNS spoofing, or possibly in this video as well. What we want to do, I just want to show you that you can also specify targets with this. So not everyone on the local network will be exposed to the ARP spoofing attack. So if you just specify both the gateway and both the targets, or a single target, it can be used to only attack one single machine. Everyone else will be functioning normally. But be aware that sometimes when you close this program, everyone will be unavailable to connect to the internet because you were messing around with the ARP tables in both gateway and both your machines that you were spoofing. So it might take a few seconds, possibly a minute or two, in order for everything to get back to normal and in order for everyone to be able to access the internet once again. So let's actually specify a single target right here. We can do that with mitmf or -i for the interface. We specify the ETH0 as one for the interface, and we specify the same as before. So --spoof, then --ARP, so for ARP spoofing, and then --target, and we can use our command prompt to check out the IP address of our Windows 10 machine. So it is 192.168.1.2, and then we specify that IP address right here, and then we specify the gateway IP address right after it, so 1.1. And I will not be running this command at the moment since it is the same as in the previous video. I just wanted to show you that you can specify a single target, or I believe if you, for example, do something like this to -20, it will ARP spoof all of the targets that have the IP range between .1.2 and between .1.20. So it's good to know that you can do that as well. And right now, before we continue, I want to show you the config file that comes with the mitmf. So what we want to do right now is I want to show you how you can perform the same attack on the HTTPS servers or websites as well. So we saw in the previous video that this website right here, which is HTTPS, wasn't vulnerable to our ARP spoofing attack, and we weren't able to see the username and password that were typed in on this website. But let's see if we can change that. So we won't run this command. Let me just delete this. And what you want to do, let me just first clear the screen. Just type ls in the mitmf folder, and you will see a directory called config. It is right here. So let's change our current directory into the config directory. And what we want to do is type here ls, and you will see that there is a file called mitmf.conf. Now, you will be using that file extensively while performing some of the advanced attacks right here in this tool, since all of the configuration is in that file. So right now what we want to do is basically we want to open that file. So let us nano mitmf.conf, and you will see some of the available options right here. So this is the configuration file, as it says right here. Everything that is after the hash is referred to as a comment, and it won't be run by our man-in-the-middle proxy. So this is for beef, metasploit, mitmf API usage, so we can see some specified host port. Now this is the default port for the beef XSS framework, which we will also cover in the next video briefly while performing the man-in-the-middle attack. The metasploit we will cover in the next section, but what we are interested right now is the DNS part right here. So you have a plugin called DNS in our man-in-the-middle framework tool, which can allow us to basically specify the IP address for a certain domain. As we can see right here, twitter.com equals 192.168.1.15. Now, we both know that this isn't the real Twitter's IP address, and it basically will redirect the twitter.com to the 192.168.1.15, which is my laptop's IP address. So for example, I could be hosting a fake login page on my laptop, and I could be redirecting everyone to the laptop, and people wouldn't even notice. Since if I host a fake Twitter login page, everyone would think it's legit, since they typed in the Google search bar twitter.com and they were redirected to twitter.com login page. But it is a fake one. So let us actually try to use this, but not on Twitter, since I don't believe it will work, since Twitter is HTTPS over TLS. Now, sometimes I were able to get Twitter to display a fake login page, but not with this attack, with the HTTPS attack, which is basically stripping the SSL and performing the DNS resolving on Twitter, which basically just enabled us to be able to capture usernames and passwords on Twitter as well. But this doesn't work anymore, I believe, so we will specify a simple website like this one, which is HTTPS. So we can see that its domain is this one. We will specify it right here. So let me just type here star, then dot, then this right here. And we can specify the IP address of my laptop, since right there I am running Apache 2. Now, if you are running Apache 2 on Kali Linux, what you want to do is basically open a new window. Let me enlarge this right here. Now, your Apache 2 web page folder is stored in C, so change directory var, www, and html. So if you type here ls, you will have probably this index.html file, which is the file that you will display once someone types your IP address on the Google search bar. So let me just delete this file right here, and let me cat the index.html. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So let me just check my IP address. My IP address is .1.7. Now, if you open up your Firefox and type the IP address of your Kali Linux machine, it will lead you to your Apache 2 web page, if it is running currently. If it is not, I will show you how you can run it. .1.7, not really sure why is it displaying the OWASP. As we can see, is .1.7 even my IP address? So let's scroll up. It is my IP address, but it doesn't seem to be loading the correct page. So let's remove let's rename the index.html into 1.html. So this will display the page a little bit different, since Apache 2 only recognizes the unable to connect. Firefox can't establish a connection. The site could be temporarily. Okay, it doesn't even matter. What you want to do is basically take a fake page or any other page and put it in this folder and name the main HTML file index.html. So in order for the Apache 2 to display your fake page properly, you will need to name the file index.html. If you name it, for example, 1.html, this won't work. So keep that in mind. I will show you, once we create a fake captive portal, I will show you how you can clone pages and how you can put them in the Apache 2 and run them. For example, you can see that my Apache 2 is running on my laptop. If I type the IP address of my laptop, you will see it will lead me to this index of and then some files right here. So these are basically some of the files that I have in the /var/www/html folder, and they will be displayed on the page once you type the IP address. Now, the point of this is that you can have a fake login page displayed right here, and you can redirect this website to that fake login page. So every time someone types this in their search bar, they will be redirected here. Now, let us see how that works right now. So let us close this. First of all, what you want to do is Ctrl O to save, Enter, and then Ctrl X to exit. And let me just turn on the Apache 2 on my laptop. Okay, so it's already turned on. And what we want to do right now is run this command. So mitmf --help in order for us to... Oh, it's mitmf.conf. We do not want that. We want to go one directory back. And right here run mitmf-help. And let's see what we can do in order to use DNS for the redirection. So if we can see right here, let me just find this spoofing part, since I believe it is right there. Did I pass it? Where is it? Okay, here it is. --, DNS. So proxy modify DNS queries. That's what I was talking about. So we will use this one for anyone that specifies the certain name of a website that we specify in the config file. They will get redirected to my laptop, which is running Apache 2 on the IP address 192.168.1.15. Now, what you also want to do, if you want to perform the SSL strip, is you can run this command right here, which is --hsts. Let me just find it. Where is it? Right here. It's not here. It's not there, not there. Let me just find it. There are just a bunch of options right here. It is not so easy to keep track of all of them, but it should be somewhere right here. Here it is. So SSL strip HTTPS loads plugin SSL strip. Enables SSL strip for partial HTTPS bypass. So let us perform that, and we will run the full command, which looks something like this. So /mitmf.py -if, and then we specify our interface, which is eth0 --, spoof. And then what we want to specify right here is we want to specify the both ARP and DNS spoofing. So we specify the DNS so we can use the thing we specified in the config file, and we use the --arp in order to perform the ARP spoofing as well. Right now, what we want to type after this is the gateway. So let's type the gateway. We will not specify the target, since we want to actually ARP spoof everyone on the local network. And after that, the only thing we need to specify again, or not again, for the first time is HTTPS. Oops, HTTPS, which will load the plugin for SSL strip, which will enable us to capture the information from some HTTPS websites. So once you type this command right here, just press here Enter. It will once again load the banner, and it will start our ARP spoofing attack. As we can see, the SSL strip is loaded, and both our DNS spoofing and ARP spoofing is enabled. So let's see now what happens when we go. So let me just close. So let's see what happens when we try to visit the domain that we specified in the .config file. So if I press here Enter, you will see that it doesn't even lead us to that web page. It actually leads us to my laptop web page. See, I typed here this domain, and I was redirected to the same IP address on my laptop. As we can see, these two pages are basically the same. So this is my IP address on laptop, and this is the domain that we visited before with the login page. As we can see, the redirection worked perfectly. And now if I had a fake web page right here, which looked the same as the real domain, I would get redirected, and nobody would notice that they are currently on the fake page, since it says the same domain name right here, and the page would look identical. If we check it right here, we can see that the DNS cooking the response of type A. Now this single A basically means for IPv4 IP address for this website, which we specified in the config file, to this IP address. So it performed the redirection using DNS spoofing. Now, if you wanted to go, for example, to the login page that we went before, check it right here. So this is the web page right here. You can see that it is still HTTPS for some reason. Now, I'm not really sure why is that. So let us try to run this once again without the redirection. So let's close this for a second. So we successfully managed to redirect the person, but now we want to capture the username and password from that HTTPS website. So let us remove first the redirection. Let me just find, where is it? Okay, so here it is. We do not want this, so I will just leave it on twitter.com. It doesn't even matter, it won't redirect the Twitter. And if you go down here, you will find the SSL strip plugin or the configuration for the SSL strip. Now, what we want to do right here is basically, if you have a website that you want to perform SSL strip on, here, as it says here, you can configure your domains to bypass HTTPS on. The format is realdomain.com equals fakedomain.com. Now basically, for anyone typing, for example, facebook.com, they will get redirected to login.facebook.com, which will be a login page that you would be able to sniff the username and password from. Now, what we want to do right here, let me just close this for a second. And let me see if I can ping my router, since sometimes I get disconnected from the internet while performing the attack. Okay, so everything is good. And let's perform the same attack. So -i or interface ETH0 minus spoof, then minus DNS minus ARP. We want to specify the gateway as well, 192.168.1.1, and we specify HTTPS. And let us run this once again. Okay, so you can't specify the minus interface, so let us just do it with -i, and let's run this attack. Couldn't listen on port address already in use. Okay, so this means basically that we need to restart this terminal. Since the address is already in use, we can actually use this one. We need to just go to the root and then mitmf, and now we want to run the same command. So -i ETH0. Now when you get that address already in use, just restart your terminal and it should be good to go. So I just used the different terminal instead since I already had it open. So let's specify the same command and let's run the attack once again. So gateway 192.168.1.1 and then HTTPS for the SSL strip bypass. Now I think that's it, and let's let this run. Everything is good. If we go right here and we visit this, for example, we can see a simple HTTP website, could not proxy, request timed out. Okay, so my internet seems to be down. I will have to restart it, and give me just 1 second, I will be back. Okay, so I'm back on the internet, and let me just restart the terminal and then continue. Let's enlarge this. We just want to see if the SSL strip attack will work. Let's first change our directory to the man-in-the-middle framework, and let's run this attack, the same as before. So right now we can see everything is loaded, the SSL strip, and if we visit this page, which we couldn't visit before, we get it specified right here. Okay, so we can see that we are visiting the page, but what happens when we visit that page that we visited before, which was HTTPS? Let me just change. No, I did not want that page, so we want right here. And we specified that right here. We're still getting redirected for some reason. Can't really seem to figure out why is that. DNS cooking the response of type A for the website. So we are still getting redirected. Why are we getting redirected? I have no idea. But let's try some other page, which is Sam's Club, Now this page is usually the HTTPS page, and we can see that the SSL strip worked for this page. Now I'm not really sure why it didn't work for that other HTTPS page. I believe it has something to do with the previous attack that we ran. But if you notice, for example, if you visit the samsclub.com page on your own, you will see that it is HTTPS, but right now we are able to capture all of the packets going through this page. And if you notice, if you really notice, you will see something fishy about this page right here, as it has 4 W's instead of 3. Now we know World Wide Web has 3 W's, and here in the link we can see 4. Now that is the only thing that a person can actually notice if they are running this page on the ARP spoofed attack, since it can be literally the same domain as in the real page. It has to be some spoof domain, and they spoofed it with 4 W's. Now it is hard to notice, but if you know where to look, you will notice it easily. So now basically anywhere you go, you will be able to, for example, let's see if there is a login right here, not a member, join now. So you can go to the sign in right here. I believe this will lead us to, yeah, okay, so this will lead us to the login page. And if you specify anything right here and just specify password and click sign in, you can see, or you should see, that we received something. There is just too much stuff going on right here. Post data. Let me just see if I can find it. It should be somewhere around here. There is just too much data for us to find. Let us try once again. So if we post it once again, please enter a valid address. So let's just type windows@gmail.com. So we can just type any MAC address or any address we have right here. And let me just see if it captured anything. Resolving. Here it is. So the username windows@gmail.com, and let me see where is the password. I'm not even sure what I typed as the password, so that could be a problem in this huge so password, there is something password, here it is. So value for the password is this one. Now it could be a really hard to find sometimes, but we managed to find it. So this is the password that I typed in. I just typed bunch of random letters, and they were able to successfully get the login of username and password for the HTTPS page while performing the HTTPS or SSL strip attack. So that's how you can actually gather the username and password from some websites that are not HTTP while performing the SSL strip. Now this won't work on all the websites. As I said, on the TLS websites it shouldn't work. SSL strip shouldn't work on TLS websites. But as I said before, I sometimes was able to get it working on twitter.com, and I could capture twitter.com credentials. So that would be about it for this tutorial. It was rather a long tutorial. In the next one we will cover some of the plugin, or we will combine two tools, which is this tool and the tool called Beef. I will show you how you can hook other browsers and try to exploit the victim machines on local network using man-in-the-middle attack. So that would be about it for this tutorial. I hope I see you in the next one. Bye!